Ukraine, a land steeped in history and known for its resilience, is facing a critical question, one that looms large over a continent once divided by an iron curtain. 2 years into the Russian invasion, advancement has stalled along the front line, and with this, Ukraine is at risk of being divided, much like Germany was in the aftermath of World War II. As Russia continues to tighten its grip on a country that refuses to become a Russian satellite state again, we must ask ourselves, will a wall once again fracture Europe? Welcome to Living History. The most predictable thing about Vladimir Putin is his unpredictability. As revealed in a recent interview with Tucker Carlson, Putin's policies are significantly shaped by his interpretation of history. He openly acknowledges that the 2014 Crimea invasion and subsequent aggression in Ukraine are motivated by a desire to reclaim what he sees as the rightful territory of the former Soviet Union. For Putin, the collapse of the Soviet Union is deemed a geopolitical catastrophe, and a central pillar of his political agenda revolves around the restoration of a semblance of its past grandeur, a new Russian empire. This aspiration serves as a driving force behind his incursion into Ukraine, a nation he perceives as an artificial creation orchestrated by Western powers. But things have not gone to plan for Russia. 2 years since the invasion began, Russian forces have gained military control over regions south of the Dnipro River and large swathes of the Donbas region to the east, even going as far as declaring annexation through a sham referendum. Yet Russia's early blitzkrieg stalled. Ukrainian forces managed to regain territory in the north and northeastern regions around Kiev, Sami, and Kharkiv. The result? A seeming stalemate has started to emerge. In fact, by the end of 2023, rumors were swirling about Putin's alleged willingness to enter into ceasefire negotiations. But true to his strongman persona, at a press conference in December, Putin said that Moscow's objectives have not changed, and instead may be looking to claw back losses in years to come. In fact, according to a recent report by the Financial Times, Putin aims to eliminate Ukraine's pro-Western orientation. So where does this leave Ukraine? Interestingly, there is a strange parallel in history that is emerging. Following defeat in 1945, Germany was divided into East and West occupation zones, according to agreements made between the Soviet Union and Allied powers, the United States, UK, and France. Each Allied power controlled a specific region, dividing Germany into 4 occupied zones. The capital, Berlin, was also divided into 4 sectors, despite being located deep within the Soviet-controlled zone. The post-war division of Germany arose from a complex interplay of factors, including the stark ideological differences between the communist Soviet Union and the democratic Western allies, their competing geopolitical interests in Europe, and their starkly different visions for the future of a defeated and devastated Germany. Tensions escalated, leading to the division of Germany and the eventual establishment of 2 separate states, the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, and the German Democratic Republic, East Germany, which wasn't actually that democratic, but that is a story for another day. West Germany nevertheless became a parliamentary democracy, aligned with the Western Bloc and, crucially, a NATO member, while East Germany became a socialist state under Soviet influence. Are you seeing the historic parallels to Ukraine already? Well, wait, there's more. The Allies viewed the division of Germany as essential to containing Soviet influence and safeguarding democratic values, preventing the spread of communism in Europe. They also wanted to promote democracy and rebuild Western economies ravaged by war. The Marshall Plan, a massive economic aid package, was the key to success, which brings us back to Ukraine. As Russia continues the fight to expand territorially, Ukraine is, similarly to Germany after the war, being divided and reliving the economic and social consequences of Russia's hold. Areas controlled by Russia are falling victim to Soviet-style spheres of influence, while unoccupied areas remain liberated and able to continue their democratic fight. In the long term, whether or not Ukraine completely falls into the hands of Russia influence, regains autonomy, or is divided up like Germany actually depends on the actions of the West, but more on that in a moment. The division of Germany was reinforced by the construction of the Berlin Wall overnight on August 13, 1961, and was a physical manifestation of the Cold War divide, which split not only a city and a nation, but also the world. Today, whispers of a similar division in Ukraine threaten to ignite a new era of uncertainty. Both scenarios emerged from a clash of ideologies, with powerful forces vying for dominance in a strategic region. While the specifics differ, the potential consequences for global stability and international cooperation are eerily similar. Just as the rise and fall of the Berlin Wall marked a pivotal moment in history, the future of Ukraine holds the power to shape global geopolitics for decades to come. Just consider this. The Iron Curtain, a metaphorical barrier dividing East and West, cast a long shadow over Europe, trapping nations behind a veil of oppression and division. Yet, in the aftermath of conflict and turmoil, Allied-ruled West Germany managed to emerge as a beacon of hope and resilience, a testament to the transformative power of determination and unity. Against all odds, it maintained prosperity and progress, benefiting from democratic governance, employment, higher living standards, civil liberties, and security through NATO membership. Known as Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle, West Germany experienced a remarkable economic recovery in the 1950s and 60s. By the 1980s, its GDP was among the highest in the world, and was almost 60% higher than East Germany. The implementation of robust economic policies, such as currency reform as well as significant investments in infrastructure and technology, helped Germany become a global economic powerhouse. In much the same way, Ukraine stands at a crossroads for liberation and renewal. Today, it continues to fight for the principles of democracy, human rights, and liberation, which is reminiscent of the transformation witnessed in West Germany after World War II. Just as West Germany defied the constraints of the Iron Curtain, so too can Ukraine forge a path to freedom and self-determination, with the help of NATO and the West. But at what cost? There is, of course, a risk that Ukraine could crumble into a corrupt, demilitarized, socially and economically unstable state, and this would put Europe and the entire population of Ukraine at great risk, as Russia would look to expand westwards, with clear threats towards the Baltic NATO members being already uncovered recently by Estonian intelligence services. So, just like in the aftermath of the Second World War, Western Europe is looking to not only protect its security and interests from Russian expansion, but also to provide support to help rebuild Ukraine, just as the Allies provided the Marshall Plan. Embracing a West German outcome could see Ukraine transformed into a stable, prosperous Eastern European powerhouse, with EU and, critically, NATO support. But achieving this carries a heavy price. Forcing a division of Ukraine would echo a grim past, but leaving it a war-torn wasteland poses a military and political threat to Europe. Moscow's ideal end is a return to Soviet-style control, mirroring East Germany's subjugation. This means oppression, surveillance, and lost freedoms, but Ukraine's aspirations lie with the West, evidenced by its EU membership pursuit since the early 2000s. Bringing Ukraine under NATO's umbrella protects both parties from Putin's aggression and counters his demands. It sends a message: continued hostility could force Ukraine into NATO's arms. This modernized West German model shields Ukraine with NATO's defense agreements, allowing for increased military assistance from member states and Western diplomatic support to strengthen its democracy. Ultimately, EU membership could become a reality. As Russian elections loom, Moscow might seek a war end, potentially using it to manipulate Western leaders and force concessions. Proposing a NATO-backed West German model for Ukraine could expedite peace, shape its future, and outmaneuver Putin. However, will ending the war in Ukraine lead to a new European Iron Curtain and a literal wall? Only time will tell. To find out more about why NATO is broken, check out our next video, linked here.